Well, well, well. The season is over, and of course, we have the Mike McCarthy saga going on now. I mean, Snoop Dogg said there's so much drama in the LBC, and if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, there's so much drama when it comes to DC as in the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody is kind of back and forth on whether the Cowboys should keep Mike McCarthy. You know, and I noticed that some of these people, when they talk about Mike McCarthy, one of the things they want to hang their coat on is they want to hang their coat or their hat on the fact that he won 12 games 3 seasons in a row. And since we're just, we're not in the playoffs and we got plenty of things that we could talk about as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys that don't relate to what we're doing on the field as in the playoffs, my spidey senses begin to tingle because I'm like, people keep talking about Mike McCarthy, but is Mike McCarthy really that good? I mean, is he really that much better than Jason Garrett? Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, don't forget at the end to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can help to continue to grow this channel and kick us out into the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to, you can go ahead and like it now. Let's talk facts. It's amazing to me when we talk about Mike McCarthy, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I like Mike McCarthy for the most part, but, regardless of what anyone says, I have a lot of problems with Mike McCarthy. You can tell me anything you want to about Jerry Jones, but when it comes to Mike McCarthy, I'm seeing some of the same things that got him fired in Green Bay. And the one thing I do not like about Mike McCarthy is that stale as toast West Coast offense. I don't like the fact that he doesn't like to run the ball. He hates to run the ball. It was the same indictment they had against him in Green Bay. Not only does he hate to run the ball, he's terrible at situational football. He does some of the dumbest things at the most inopportune times. He's terrible at clock management, and he seems to have an issue at motivating his teams. Period. You can't argue it. And so we can talk about the things that Jerry does, but I'm talking about the things that Mike McCarthy has control of. And he doesn't do those things well. And that's one of the reasons when we talk about 12-win seasons, all we can talk about is 12-win seasons. Because in those things that he's lacking, he can't get this team past the postseason. He can't do it. We can beat the good teams. We can beat some of the good teams, but we can't beat the playoff teams. We absolutely eat on the bad teams. And that's why we get some of these 12-win seasons. And it had me wondering, we're talking about Mike McCarthy like he took over for Jason Garrett, and like he's doing a bang-up job 10 times better than Jason Garrett. Well, I want to bring us back a little bit. I want to bring us back to earth for a little bit, because when we think about Mike McCarthy, in the grand scheme of things, I want y'all to understand something. We're letting Mike McCarthy ride 1 Super Bowl. Everybody keeps saying he's a Super Bowl winning coach. Yeah, a Super Bowl. But we don't want to put the context on that. Do we realize that Mike McCarthy had Aaron bleeping Rodgers for 13 years? He had Aaron bleeping Rodgers. He had Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't play the whole time that he was there. But I want you to think about this. He had Aaron Rodgers playing in his prime. Optimus Prime. He had him playing in his prime. And he only won 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? And we're acting like with Aaron bleeping Rodgers that's an accomplishment? We really need to be thinking about that. And if you look at his record with the Green Bay Packers, I mean, I just so happen to have it right here. I mean, when we look at his record with the Green Bay Packers, we have to understand something. When you just kind of start going down these seasons, he wasn't exactly just tearing it up in Green Bay. 8-8, 13-3, 6-10, 11-5, 10-6, 15-1, 11-5, 8-7. And the crazy thing is, it was the 10-6 season that he won the Super Bowl. That was way back in 2010. We're letting him ride a Super Bowl from 14 years ago. He had Aaron Rodgers at the top of his powers. And look at this. 15-1, 11-5, 8-7, 12-4. And look at 2015. 10-6, 10-6, 2016, 2017, 7-9, 2018. He gets fired in week 13. Go back and read the report. You would literally think that you were reading the same report about Mike McCarthy right now with the Dallas Cowboys. Stale play calling, didn't like to run the ball, poor situational football. I mean, they were literally talking about how boring his play calling was. I mean, you think about it. It is absolutely insane. And we're letting Mike McCarthy ride a Super Bowl from 2010. Okay, great, you won a Super Bowl. But Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" And so it made me wonder, like, did Mike McCarthy, did he really do that much better than Jason Garrett? And the part of what I want to concentrate on, I want to concentrate on when they both got Dak Prescott. Because the reality is, we don't give Dak Prescott credit. But Dak Prescott changed. I mean, he really changed life in a sense for both Jason Garrett and one Mike McCarthy. Let me show you something about Jason Garrett's tenure with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to show you when things changed for Jason Garrett and people don't give him enough credit. Now, when you think about Jason Garrett, he took this team over from, I think it's Wade Phillips. He went 5-3 in that season. He went 8-8 2011, 8-8 2012, 8-8 2013. But people have to understand, if you go back and look at those drafts, at what Jason Garrett was doing. Jason Garrett, along with Will McClay, Jerry Jones, the crew, they began to build the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. The Travis Frederick, the Tyron Smith, the Zach Martin, they began to build that line. And in building that line, what wound up happening is, and of course, we didn't even know, at least I didn't realize how good DeMarco Murray was, because, man, DeMarco Murray flat out broke out in 2014. I mean, we saw some of it in 2013. He broke out in 2014. And when everything came together in 2014, look at what happened. Jason Garrett went 12-4. And I really find it to be ironic, because when you think about this, it was one Mike McCarthy that Jason Garrett went up against. Prime Aaron Rodgers. And I remember in that game, Aaron Rodgers had some kind of ankle injury or something to that degree. Maybe it was a calf or a shin. He was hopping around out there on one leg, and he was killing us. We didn't quite have the defense that we that we needed. Aaron Rodgers was killing us. And don't get it twisted. There is lore. There is lore behind Aaron Rodgers flat out not doing the plays that Mike McCarthy would call at times. He was known to draw up plays in the sand. Similarly, how he did us in the season when Dak Prescott came in 2016, the lore is that Aaron Rodgers drew up the last play basically in the sand that beat the Dallas Cowboys when he throws the ball down the sideline, and then they kick a field goal that goes from outside to in. But I'm telling us, when we think about Jason Garrett, when they get the team to its full power and they cheated them on the Dez Bryant catch, they have now gone on to say that it was a catch. Cowboys went 12-4 that season. The Cowboys were on their way to the NFC Championship game. And I believe if they make it past the Green Bay Packers, they go to the Super Bowl. They were that good in 2014 under Jason Garrett. And you think about it. I mean, I don't know. Have we had a team that we thought like that with under Mike McCarthy? Under Mike McCarthy? But I digress. I want you to think about 2015. Jason Garrett goes 4-12. So why did he go 4-12? Well, we only need to go back and start looking at the injury history that he was dealing with. Because some people say, well, the only years that Mike McCarthy didn't win, Dak Prescott was hurt. Feast your eyes on this. People say is Dak Prescott injury prone? Well, let me ask you this. Was Tony Romo injury prone? So in 2014, well, Tony Romo, he already started dealing with the back issue. The back issues he started dealing with around 2013, 2014. But you look at what happened in 2014. He has this back vertebral fracture. But 2014, Tony Romo, through these, he plays through the injuries. They get the 12-4 season. Anybody want to see what happened in the 2015 season? You want to know why Jason Garrett went 12-4? You want to know why he went 4-12? Tony Romo, shoulder clavicle fracture. He missed what? It says 2015. He missed 7 games. November 26, 2015, shoulder clavicle fracture. He missed 5 more games. Romo suffered a re-break of his clavicle. Tony Romo missed 12 games. What year is that? 2015. You go back and look at Jason Garrett's record. 4-12. The same amount of games that Tony Romo is injured is the same amount of games that Jason Garrett loses. So was Jason Garrett really as bad as we thought he was? People are hard on coaches and quarterbacks in Dallas because we're always comparing them to Jimmy Johnson and Troy Aikman, who I can't even go back through this again. A non-salary cap era. Herschel Walker trade. Hall of Fame, offensive line, running back, wide receiver, quarterback, even on the defensive side. He literally had a super team around him. Charles Haley, Deion Sanders. Hall of Fame coaching staff almost. Loaded. Absolutely loaded. And we're always comparing coaches and quarterbacks. And we eat coaches and quarterbacks alive in Dallas. And we'll admit, okay, Jerry does this and Jerry does that and Jerry does this. And then we still be ready to get rid of these coaches. Now I got an issue with the stuff that Mike McCarthy can control. That's the stuff I got a problem with. And this is some of the same stuff I think people had problems with Jason Garrett. But I want you to think about something. Jason Garrett had them 3-8-8s. But when they got it going, they got it going. 12-4. The catch took them out of the playoffs. Took them out of the NFC Championship game. Can you say we lost like that? No, we ain't lost like that. That was crazy. That was crazy. It was the Green Bay Packers. So, 2015, I already showed you the injuries that Jason Garrett dealt with Tony Romo. Then, look what happened in 2016. Let's go back to Tony Romo. Then we're going to come back to 2016 on Jason Garrett. Look what happened to Tony Romo. Tony Romo went down in week 3 of the preseason. He sustained a compression fracture of his L1 vertebrae. He missed 10 games. And don't let me forget this. Jason Garrett was also dealing with injuries to one Dez Bryant throughout his whole career. Look at this. 2015, 2 games missed. 7 games missed. Y'all think that Mike McCarthy has went through some stuff? We need to go back and think about why was Jason Garrett, what was some of the reasons why Jason Garrett was losing? And what happens for Jason Garrett? They thought the season was over. But Dakota Prescott was already showing signs in the preseason. And everybody started watching him in the preseason going, this 4th round draft pick is pretty good. Dak Prescott was not supposed to be a 4th round draft pick. Dak Prescott got involved in some DUI junk. Dak Prescott was supposed to be a high second, or he was supposed to be I guess you would call it a high second, end of the 1st. That's what they're saying. He should have been. Dallas wound up getting him in the 4th because y'all know how people drop. They drop whenever something happens in the draft. So Dak Prescott, along with that line that they've built, brand new running back to replace DeMarco Murray, Ezekiel Elliott in his prime. It's amazing to me. They went 13-3. And isn't it irony? The very team that stopped them again was none other than the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers that stopped them in Green Bay with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Guess who stops them again? Aaron bleeping Rodgers. And I'm telling you, the credit goes to Aaron Rodgers because they're saying that the play that beat the Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers said that play was trash and drew up his own play and beat the Cowboys on one of the most improbable throws and catches you'll ever see, and wound up beating the Cowboys 13-3. 13-3. And so I want to hone in on Dak Prescott, because with Dak Prescott, I want y'all to think about what happened. With Dak bleeping Prescott, the Cowboys went 13-3. They went 9-7. They went 10-6. And then they went 8-8. Now, if you start looking at the 2019 season, the Dallas Cowboys, they start going through all kinds of transitions. I think we cut Dez Bryant 2018. We bring in Amari Cooper. But even in that season, we're dealing with some injuries. I remember that year. I don't want to go back and just cover that whole 2019, but Jason Garrett, people have to understand, he was suffering from some of the same stuff that Mike McCarthy is suffering from. Now, when you think about 2019, this is the injury report that Jason Garrett was dealing with in that 2019 season when he went 8-8. People don't realize, man, he was going through it too. Look at this. Injured reserve, Anthony Brown. Out. Injured reserve, Tyrone Crawford. Kayvon Frazier, injured reserve. Jalen Jelks, injured reserve. Jean-Vay Johnson, injured reserve. He was going through it too. Look at this. Connor McGovern, injured reserve. He was a part of the line. I mean, when you think about it, you go back and start looking at these things. Look at all of the players. Injured reserve. He was no different. He was no different than Mike McCarthy. Just look at these players. Chris Westry. Cody Whiteman. You go down the line on this stuff. He went through a plethora of injuries. A plethora of injuries in 2019. And so when we think about that, you think that Mike McCarthy came in here like gangbusters, like Jason Garrett in his, especially, I want to concentrate on the Dak Prescott year. And as a matter of fact, we can still give him credit for 2014. He dealt with tremendous injuries in 2015, Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, but he got right back on the horse with Dak Prescott in 2016. And look at this, winning season. Okay, he went 8-8. And it's strange to me Everybody was ready to run Jason Garrett out of town. And look at what happened even in 2018. Jason Garrett in 2018. Jason Garrett, how many playoff games? 2. Won 1, lost 1. This is Jason Garrett with Dak Prescott. And so in that tenure, when they finally got the team the way that it needed to be, you look at his record. He won 2 playoff games, lost 3. If I'm not mistaken, that's 2-3. He went to 5 playoff games. He's 2-3 in his last 6 seasons. He's 2-3. And one of those seasons riddled with injuries. This is Jason Garrett. This is Jason Garrett. With the same Jerry Jones that Mike McCarthy's been going through this stuff with. Now, let's go to Mike McCarthy. We're not even going to look at the Green Bay stuff. I've already told you. He won that Super Bowl in 2010. But if you look at this record, I mean, these are a lot of 10s and 11s. Couple of 12s in there. I mean, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, look at how he started declining. Look at how he started declining towards the end. And I know he went through some injuries in there too, but he had a lot of healthy time in there too. Didn't win. Didn't have his team focused at certain times and they lost on sometimes crazy plays. This is the tendencies of Mike McCarthy because we've seen it in Dallas. So I want to come down here to when he gets to Dallas. So I want you to see what happens when he gets to Dallas. Y'all remember what happened in 2020? This is the infamous injury by Dak Prescott. This is the injury. So they go 6-10. Dak Prescott gets healthy. They go 12-5. Guess who's calling the plays? Kellen Moore. They go 12-5 in 2022. Guess who's calling the plays? Kellen Moore. They go 12-5 in 2023. Guess who's calling the plays? Mike McCarthy. So now we get to 2024. 7-10. Mike McCarthy is calling the stellest plays he could ever call. He's calling the stellest plays he could call. But because of injury again, he goes 7-10. So both of them have dealt with the same similar things. But what I want to call your attention to is the fact that Mike McCarthy, because if you look at what happened when Dak Prescott gets with both of them, the wins increase. The team is playing better. Both of them. Dak gets here in 2016, Jason Garrett's win percentage turns up. Mike McCarthy gets here in 2020, the win percentage turns up after Dak comes back off injury. And they are 1-3 in the playoffs. Now I'm going to show you something here again. We talk about these 12-win seasons, and we act like that he has just tore it up. Look at this. So which one of them is better? Mike McCarthy or Jason Garrett? Jason Garrett, 1 less loss, 4 more wins, 1-3 in the playoffs. Mike McCarthy, 5 less wins, 1 more loss. So we're going to continue to let Mike McCarthy, we're going to continue to let him ride a Super Bowl from 2010. That's what we're doing. And if you're going to say that it's Jura Jones, and it's never going to change, so was it Jason Garrett's fault? Because I can remember people calling for Jason Garrett's job, calling him Captain Clap, Mr. Clap, all this stuff. But it's amazing when we go back and look at history and we look at context. Was he really that bad? He was dealing with Jerry too. He was fighting Jerry too. He was dealing with things that Jerry wouldn't do too. Jerry took play callings from him. What's the difference in him and Mike McCarthy? Are they really that different? Oh, I mean, are they really that different? I'm telling you, man. Jerry can do what he wants. It's his team. But I do think we need to pump the brakes, acting like, well, who else can the Cowboys go and get? So you're telling me they can't go get somebody else better than Mike McCarthy? When Mike McCarthy, in reality, when you look at their last 5 years, Mike McCarthy hasn't really been better than Jason Garrett. And if you look at both of their tenures up under Dak Prescott, it is amazing how their numbers are eerily similar. Eerily similar. Mike McCarthy has just made it look better because it's been 12-win seasons, 3 12-win seasons in a row. But when you compound those wins together, it's not really that much more. It's not that much more with Dak Prescott. And if you do their last 5, you got to give the edge to Jason Garrett. And Jason Garrett ran into some very unfortunate things too. We were doing the same thing to Jason Garrett and even worse. We were wanting Jason Garrett to win while they were building the team up. We were doing that to Jason Garrett. I'm telling you, y'all go back and look at the stuff that I put up on the screen. It's all right there in black and white. Let's stop acting like that Mike McCarthy is the greatest coach or acting like the Cowboys can't do something else. People keep asking, oh, how can Mike Vrabel do any different? I mean, how can he do any better? Well, how good has Mike McCarthy actually been? I'm talking about with the Cowboys. I'm not talking about with the Green Bay Packers, because to me, the Green Bay Packer thing is an indictment. You got 1 Super Bowl with Aaron bleeping Rodgers. Man, no. No, you should have had more than that. You should have had more than that. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Mike McCarthy? Is he really that much better than Jason Garrett? Are you telling me we can't find somebody better than Mike McCarthy? Because if we can't find anybody better than Mike McCarthy, it's not just the Dallas Cowboys. This entire league is in trouble. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.